When I was a kid, I thought monsters lived under the bed. I never imagined the real monster would live inside the house. This story is not made up. I wish it was. And if you're alone while listening, you might want to check behind your walls when it's over. I was 11 when it started. My dad had just lost his job, and we had to move from our clean, cozy apartment into an old wooden house in a forgotten neighborhood. The rent was cheap, which my parents were excited about. But even as a kid, I knew something felt wrong. The house creaked like it was breathing. The lights flickered even when there was no wind, and sometimes when I was alone, I'd hear tapping. Not on the windows. From inside the walls. It started with little things. At night, my school shoes would be missing from the mat by the door and show up under the couch. My lunchbox was once found in the attic. My mom blamed me for playing around, but I knew I wasn't. One night, I woke up because I felt someone breathing, but when I turned, no one was there. I tried to scream for my parents, but my voice cracked. I told myself it was a nightmare, but the feeling of eyes on me never left. Then came the drawings. I found them in my coloring book sketches in charcoal, definitely not mine. Twisted figures. A girl crouched in a narrow space. Long black hair, wide eyes, and blood running down her chin. On one page, in shaky, uneven writing, were the words, "She never left. She watches, she waits." My parents thought I was acting out because of the move, but one night, everything changed. It was around 2 a.m. I was asleep when I heard footsteps, not my parents, lighter, cautious. I followed the sound with my eyes and saw the wall panel near my closet slide open, and someone crawled out. She was small, about my size, but filthy, pale. Her eyes were sunken and her nails were long. She stared at me for a long time before crawling toward my bed. I was frozen. I couldn't scream. She whispered, "Don't tell them I'm here." Then she turned, slipped back into the wall, and disappeared. The next morning, I told my parents everything. Of course, they didn't believe me. So that day, I waited until they were out. I opened the panel. Inside was a narrow crawl space, dust, cobwebs, and food wrappers, torn clothes, a dirty blanket. She'd been living there. We called the police. They found her a day later, hiding in the wall behind the water heater. She fought them like an animal. It took 4 officers to drag her out. She was 12. Her name was Mina. She had been kidnapped 3 years before and somehow escaped from her captor, hiding in abandoned houses ever since. She found ours empty before we moved in and just never left. They said she only came out at night to eat, move around, and watch. I never saw her again. But for years, I had dreams of her crawling out of dark corners, whispering secrets only I could hear. You fear the things that go bump in the night. But sometimes the scariest thing is what doesn't bump, what crawls, what hides, and what waits silently in the walls.